on, Group Coach Nation? We're talking mindset today. You know, hey, Claudia Garbutt is here with us. Thank you, Claudia. She is a mindset coach and expert, and we've gotten to know each other the past few months. Claudia, I truly am super stoked about this conversation. As you and I were talking kind of pre-show, the whole mindset thing, I was telling you this, but just for everybody else, just to catch up here, in my pro level group at Group Coach Nation, we actually have a mindset coach that spends a lot of time with all of our participants in that level. I was looking at I've got a bunch of friends over in the ClickFunnels community. I used to be in one of Russell's masterminds. His current mastermind has a mindset coach that meets with everybody on a regular basis in his community. Like, anybody who knows performance knows that the mental game of that piece of performance, I don't want to say is as important as the strategy, but it definitely impacts the strategy and it definitely keeps the execution on track. Everything's about doing work to get results. You got the right strategy, right execution, folks. Yeah. Your mindset is what's going to make or break your sustainability and how big your strategy can run. So Claudia, truly thanks for letting us hang out and ask questions and you just impacting our lives.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much for having me. And I couldn't agree more on what you just said, because mindset is huge. I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there look at it as like this woo-woo thing that doesn't really impact their bottom line, but that is just so far from the truth. And once they understand what's going on and how it's really impacting their lives and their businesses, I know that they will understand how important it is to make time for that. So totally agree.
Well, give us a little backstory here first. Like, how did you get into mindset work? Because that's, it's kind of a woo-woo space. Some people feel I feel that it's a very practical tool in my toolbox of tools to use in doing what I do professionally. But how did you get in that space? Because it's not something you just somebody teaches you social media marketing, you become a social media marketer. That's a long road.
Yeah. So for me, I'm actually a molecular biologist.
No way.
Yes, I am. So I come from the science, and then I turned a mindset and high performance coach, and now I help my ambitious and mission-driven entrepreneurs to ditch the hustle and the overwhelm and all the busy work, so that they can show up as authentic and confident leaders and build their legacy. And in my coaching, I really focus on bridging that gap between psychology on the one hand and physiology on the other hand, because there's often this huge gap between what we want to achieve and how pursuing that goal makes us feel, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, for instance, what I see happening a lot is successful, driven, high achievers. They create immense wealth and financial success in their businesses, but they never get to the point where they actually feel wealthy. So there's this constant worry and concern, the fear of losing it all, the fear of what I can't grow my best business any further without sacrificing something that's like super important to me. So I don't want to go down that route. And that just makes them more and more stressed. And they finally find themselves completely unable to relax and to focus and to stay present and enjoy what they have created. And oftentimes this also manifests in physical problems like back pains, migraines, headaches, digestive problems, all sorts of things. Insomnia is a typical one. So that's really where psychology and physiology converge, and you see the direct effect of your mindset on your physical health as well. And that's where my coaching comes in. We use science-based tools and techniques to help those driven high achievers live a happier and more fulfilled life, where they can get out of that constant stress response and get back to the rest and repair state.
Claudia, this is like really resonating with me right now. I'm pretty open here at Group Coach Nation on the channels we communicate on. And if you guys follow me much, you know that I see a therapist. I have a background of trauma, and Claudia and I actually mentioned the trauma word right before we got on the show as well, early in our conversation. there's so much backstory in all of our lives. Whatever your backstory is your
Yeah.
backstory. But that stuff like plays into your current life and your next life, the tomorrow of your life. And it's really important to start getting a handle on that. And I, Claudia, I don't know that I could overstate how important it is for each of us to really step into a place with a skilled professional, a coach, a mentor, a therapist, whatever, somebody to help us like acknowledge those things
Mm.
and know what to do about them today. Um, I want to pause there and let you fire something back on that because I know you have so much to say about that. But then I want to talk about just where we each are in our spectrum of understanding of how this mindset thing or our belief about mindset playing into our ability to succeed or overcome things. So, but anyway, can you just talk about like how do we start reconciling our past so that
Mm.
it can be used as maybe a stepping stone to our current or future, not a wall?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So I think every one of us, we carry around so much unresolved trauma,
Mm.
often without being consciously aware of it. So
Oh, by
a
the
lot of
way,
that.
Adam here. Adam, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, Claudia. Adam says backstories. Yeah, focus. Yeah, yeah, backstories.
Yeah,
Focus you.
they can
The bar
either
block you. Yeah,
strengthen you or they can sabotage
mhm.
you and
Yeah.
stop you
Well
from
said, Adam.
achieving your goals. And I mean, a lot of that unresolved trauma really stems from our childhood. I know this is a cliche again, where you think that you go see a therapist and all they do is talk about your childhood, but it's a cliche because there's so much truth in that. When we grow up, especially during the age between 0 and 7 years old, there's so much information that you have to process. And oftentimes things go wrong. So your brain really develops as a response to all the experiences that you have. So you can have experiences of lack or overwhelm early in your childhood that you just don't know how to handle. So most people think about trauma as something terrible that happened to them, like growing up with a, say, violent parent, for example, something that you couldn't protect yourself against. But trauma can also develop from lack, from something that did not happen to you. So a lack of attention, for instance. Maybe your parents were just too busy or too stressed out to take good care of you. Or it could have been a lack of acceptance, for instance. Maybe you've always felt that you didn't belong, that you weren't accepted for who you were, or you were judged, criticized, compared, something along those lines. And those experiences can also result in a lot of unresolved trauma. Just think about it. As kids, we don't know how to handle strong emotions, right? Strong emotions, they automatically activate the sympathetic pathway of your autonomous nervous system. And as a result, your heart rate goes up, you breathe faster, you might start to sweat and panic because all of that is terrifying because A, you don't know why you're having that experience, and B, you don't know how to stop it, how to calm yourself down again. And calming yourself down again is a learned skill, and
Mm.
it's best learned through something that's called co-regulation, which just means that in the beginning, your caregivers usually help you calm down. So they might give you a big hug, they might pat you on the back, tell you to take a big breath, something like that. And all of that helps you to calm down and decrease that sympathetic activation. Now, co regulation is said to be a critical precursor for emotional self regulation. And if your parents, for whatever reason, did not respond to your needs adequately, it
Mhm.
might be so much harder for you later in life to deal with strong emotions on your own.
That's so deep. Like there's so much there for like even for me, somebody who's been in therapy processes, both in group settings, residential settings, and individual therapy processes, has been so helpful. But just even hearing all that is pretty overwhelming.
Mm.
because it sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. My life is so complicated already. How in the world can I go back and take the time today to start dealing with that kind of stuff? But, Claudia, I know you're like a superstar in this space. Thanks again for investing in us today. But as somebody who's not the superstar in the space, just somebody who's trying to heal, like, it's so important to, the only way I know to say it is like, it's like you have a cut and it's gotten infected, didn't
Mm.
quite heal right, and you're throwing a bandage on it. You
Yep.
can't do that. You have to stop at some point. You don't have to stop all your business and all your life, but you got to take a break, an hour a week, whatever, and start pulling the Band-Aid off, cleaning out the wound so it can actually start healing correctly.
That is so true, because the only way to heal that trauma is, you can think of trauma as like an interrupted loop. You have to go and finish that loop, go through the emotions, deal with that. And that way you can move past the experience. Otherwise, it's kind of like a stuck emotion. You just can't move forward because it's blocking you without you even realizing that it is blocking you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about this spectrum of where we all fall. So while you listening in, watching, you don't have to answer questions or ask questions today. I know this is a very personal topic, but let's kind of move away from the past for a second, get into the present. Ask questions if you got them, though, because this performance mindset thing is a really big deal. By the way, Claudia, side note, I was just watching the Olympics like most of us were, occasionally during the past few weeks. What's up, folks? JL, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Hey, good people. I had to realize I needed therapy. Yeah. It's so great, man. Dealt with your past so you can move into your future. Way to go, buddy. Like,
Yep.
fist bump here on that one, dude. That's just amazing. Brave space there. So I keep watching these Olympians and they're up there. I'm a snowboarder, so I watch the snowboarding, right? I'm not a curler, but I do watch curling because that is like the best Olympic sport ever. I have no idea why it's an Olympic sport, but like, yeah. So anyway, you like see the snowboarders and they're up there and they're like going through all their twists, like doing all this stuff. And you're like, they got to be so secure because they're like in front of the world and they're like closing their eyes and you can see them playing out every move for the half pipe.
Yeah.
Like that's mindset work.
It is. It's
Yeah.
visualizing.
Yeah. They're not dealing
Yeah.
with their trauma in their past right now. They're just dealing with like the next 30 seconds matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the spectrum I was going to relate to. There's some of us out here are listening, watching, whatever. And this is where I used to be. I used to be like a low performer. And I thought mindset stuff was crap. Like freaking get your stuff done.
Same here.
Okay. Yeah. And then there's the other spectrum over here that's like super high performer and they totally know mindset is everything. Okay. And then there's this middle gray area where some high performers are anti-mindset for whatever reasons, just worked out for them. They probably have the right mindset and just don't call it that. Some low performers are super mindset oriented, but never freaking do any work to get stuff done. They just have a really positive mental outlook. So there's this sweet spot in the middle where you're like crushing it every day and you're owning the mindset thing. You're making it all work together. How do you help people get to that space where they're crushing it every day and they're still taking the time to put down the execution or the sales call or the team meeting and take a moment and get that mindset thing sorted back out so they can keep crushing it the next day?
That is an excellent question. So I think something you mentioned there is very important. The just the positive mindset, that is something that I see a lot in the manifesting space. It's a word that I'm not very fond of, but in that space, a lot of people believe they can just sit on the sofa, think positive thoughts, and the results will come. And that's just not how it works. So you have to take the action if you want to have the results. So you have to have the mindset, but you also have to take the inspired action. So you can't be on that side of the spectrum. Well, you can be, but that's the low performer who just thinks positive thoughts and doesn't take any action. But then what I would suggest you do is you link your mindset practice with an action step. So you can have small practice every day that helps you focus your mindset, but you also have to have a practice that helps you implement and take action on a regular basis.
Talk about linking those two together. Like, that's kind of a fascinating thing to me. By the way, fortune, who said this? Yeah, JL, is that you? Yeah, JL, fortune favors the action taker.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Because if he
So
doesn't,
talk about matching
yeah.
that action with a mindset piece. Like, what does that practically look like today?
So one of the things that I love doing is habit stacking. So you can come up with something, a habit that helps you with your mindset. Maybe you want to do daily affirmations, but you can then you can stack the habit by combining it with, say, okay, something I need to do in my business every day is reach out to, I don't know, 10 people and see if I can get them on a sales call,
Sure.
something like that. Okay. So you can have your affirmation part, which directly leads to the action part. So you do your affirmations first, get in the right mindset, and immediately after that, once you're in the right mindset, you take the action step that you know you should be doing in your business. So you kind of bring them together. You don't have a big time space in between them. Do your affirmations in the morning, do the sales calls in the afternoon. If
Yeah.
you know you have trouble getting this task done because it feels like I don't want to be icky and salesy, and so I don't want to do that. Find the affirmations that help you get in the right mindset, and then do the action steps straight away.
That's really good. That's really good. Jill, my wife's name is Jill. She's really good at doing like she actually says that. What was it? Stacking? Say it again.
Yeah, habit stacking.
Habit stacking. Yes, I've heard her say that like a dozen times, and I still can't get it in my head right. She talks about that, and she does that. Like, she stacks habits because one habit then starts triggering
Yes,
the success of the
exactly.
next habit, right? Okay. But
I
I've
love
never
that.
done that in a mindset way. So what I do, like whatever my internal self-talk needs to be, like I have a note on my phone that reminds me of who I am
Mhm.
and what I can do. Um, would I kind of put that review right before, like prospecting is a good one, or a sales call or something like that, as a way to kind of always have those two together, especially for a lot of us, prospecting and sales calls is kind of a negative experience. It's a numbers
Yeah.
game. There's rejection there and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could see if you can stack those habits, let one trigger the next, and see how it goes for you.
Okay, Claudia. So demystify like what you do for a living. So you do coaching for high performers in the mindset space.
Yeah.
When somebody, like, a lot of us don't know what that looks like. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? So I give you a call and then we agree to meet every week, or and what are we going to talk about, and what happens from start to finish? Like, what am I hoping comes out of this? Like, walk us through what that means.
It's so airy fairy woo woo, right? I hated the word mindset coaching in the beginning because for me, it was exactly the same. Like, what does that mean? So, what it means to me is when we get on a call, we talk about what it is that you really want to achieve. So we do a goal setting session if you
Yeah.
want. And we also talk about all the things that are holding you back right now. So it's a thorough initial assessment of where you're at in your life right now and where you want to go. And based on that, we will come up with a action plan, and then we will meet on a regular basis, could be weekly meetings. And I give you, or just email check ins every week, and then have a meeting just every second week, something like that. So it's highly customizable because a lot of people are very busy, and maybe they are too busy to do the weekly ones and they do every second week.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because when we want to rewire your brain and we want to really change those patterns, there are two ways that your brain learns. And one is repetition and the other one is immersion. So I want regular meetings, and I give you little action steps that you can take every day.
Mhm.
That's the repetition part. But then I also like to have longer meetings in between as an immersion part.
Okay.
And that's where I bring in different modalities. Like we can, based on what you're going through and what you want to achieve, we can use hypnotherapy, we can use cognitive behavioral therapy, we can use NLP, tapping, all different sorts and tools to really help you change your mind and the patterns that you have created inside your body.
That makes sense, and that sounds really helpful. Actually, that doesn't sound too woo-woo or forgive me, folks. So many of my friends are very spiritual people. Claudia, I'm probably on the spectrum of your clients. I'm probably on the extremely logical side. I'm not a very spiritual person.
Me too.
Yeah, you are a molecular biologist. Yeah, you're freaking genius land over there.
Not a
So
genius, but a scientist, a skeptical scientist. So
yeah,
you get it.
but it works. Oh my gosh, like our brains, it's like rehabbing a muscle or strengthening a muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you just retraining the thing, get it working the right way, tune it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. And then we focus on all those high performance habits, and I help you just bring it all together. Find the things that work for you,
Yeah.
align them, do the habit stacking, find a way to make it work for you.
Huh. That's so awesome. I like love every bit of that. Okay, so as people are like hearing this, if they want to like tiptoe into this, where do they go? Like you've got a free session. People can just like jump on a call and talk to you for a minute about like explore the idea, right?
Yes.
Where do
So
they go for that? Is it your website?
yeah, they can go to my website,
Is
which
that
is
wiredforsuccess.solutions?
that's the one.
I
And
got
they
it right
can,
here on the screen, folks. If you're watching, wiredforsuccess.solutions. I'll drop it in the description of this in the chat as well for you listeners. If you're driving, you can check it later.
thank you.
What does that 20-minute session look like? Like, yeah, help me understand
Yeah.
what happens there.
So
Should
that's
I be
basically
scared? Are you fixing to ask about my childhood?
no, no, basically that's just the one where you tell me why you hopped on the call, what you hope to gain from working with me. So we are just talking about what you want to achieve, why it's maybe not working, or what you think is the problem. Because oftentimes what you think is the problem is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so
Yeah.
much more that we need to uncover. But this is what we talk about, and then what it could look like if we worked together. So that's basically just exploring our options. And then we take it from there. And after that, we would have this initial thorough assessment where we talk for a longer period of time just to really understand what your situation is and what the best way is to move forward.
That's super helpful. Again, anybody listening or watching, here at Group Coach Nation, like Claudia and I don't have some arrangement. There's no affiliate commissioning like that. Go find your person. If there's anything Claudia and I can like help you catch on to today, it's that your mindset matters. It matters as much as anything else you're doing in your business. It's the foundation that you are going to become sustainable by standing on. And if you don't have that foundation right, it's gonna start getting shaky over time. You might be able to go, and here's a great example of this. We all have gone to the weekend conference. We've heard the amazing speaker, and we get in this mindset space, even if it's temporary, and even if it's not done very deeply with the right foundation. We still get in a really great mindset, and we have like the greatest weekend and the greatest next week of our life because we're crushing our goals. We're all hyped up. We got it. That's I know, Claudia, you're like cringing. That's not real sustainable
No,
mindset. I know it's not, but it's a picture of, it's like a little glimpse of
it
what that
is.
is. It's like,
It's
yeah,
so true.
it's fuel in the gas tank of the car. And that's like, it's worth a phone call with Claudia. If Claudia is not your person, find your person. Like, find your person. Get this mindset thing sorted. So yeah, like you folks got this. Go out there and do work, get results. But doing the work isn't always hustling and grinding out the work. It's why. It's what's going on underneath. You know? Anything you'd add to that, Claudia?
Yeah, that's so I mean, what you said is so true. I often see that entrepreneurs, they are so ambitious and they focus on all the like revenue goals. They focus on tactics, on strategies, and sometimes they really forget about all the mindset and the soft skills and taking good care of themselves. But that's kind of, I think about it as focusing so much on the destination where you want to go that you don't take care of the vehicle that actually gets you there, right? So you can focus on the destination all you want, but if your vehicle is broken or you don't have gas in the tank, it won't get you where you want to go.
So true. Well, Claudia, thank you for spending time with us and demystifying
Yes.
this seemingly woo area of the world that really is actually quite practical.
It is.
Really
Thank you so
is.
much for having me.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, Wired for Success, spelled out WIREDFORSUCCESS.solutions. It's not a .com, it's a .solutions. I kind of like that, actually. Wired for Success Solutions. Go there. You can check out more about Claudia and you can sign up to just chat with her for a few minutes and get a few questions answered. That's probably a pretty helpful idea right there. Claudia, you're the best.
Oh, you're the best.
No, no, you're the best. No, it's so great. It's so great to talk to you again today. And I can't wait to like hang out more. This has really been insightful. And okay, as always, folks, do work, get results. And as always, ask your questions. So if you have questions about this episode, feel free to fire them away in the comments. We'll do our best to route you to Claudia or one of our team members to like get your answers for you. If you're here just trying to figure out how to start your own high ticket coaching program or mastermind, groupcoachnation.com is your place, right? But ultimately, this is about mindset today. Wired for Success .solutions. It's a great one there. Claudia, you know, everybody listening in, the best part about having your own show is you get to talk off stage. So Claudia, I'm going to hit end on this thing. Can't wait to catch up again in a minute. So everybody else, all the best. Do the work, get the results.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care. Bye.